Hi, my name is Kayla Brasher. I am a 32-year-old married mother of four, and I am an early childhood education major. My children are 6, 4, 2, and 14 months. I currently serve as the president of the Early Childhood Education Club, and also I serve in the student government as a Senate ambassador for the Early Childhood Education Department under Diane King. I really like all of my facets that I've learned through the early childhood education department. Um, as a student, like as a young girl, my parents took me out to the Child Study Center when I was in preschool, and then my mother worked at the Child Study Center as well. Um, all of my children have been in the infant room, the toddler room, the preschool room, and the pre-K department. And I've really enjoyed getting to know the staff out there, and I've always thought they were really, really professional. And it turns out most of them have been educated at SIC. And so when I decided that I wanted to go back to school and work with children, it just seemed like a natural fit that I would want to go where all of these super professional women have been trained. So I just this past August started taking classes with Diane King. I'm completing my first semester in the early childhood education department, and it's busy, but it's wonderful. It's really good. And I would encourage anyone to try, if you enjoy working with children, if you enjoy education, it's just a really good department to give it a shot. Um, and you can get a job right away. There are certificate programs, there are associate degree programs. You can get trained and get gateways certified, which you will learn all about if you check in with Diane or ask anyone at the Child Study Center. They can all tell you about gateways and how good it is to be certified there. A little bit more about myself personally. When I'm not being a wife and a mom and a student, I volunteer all around the community. I, this semester, have coached 2 soccer teams with my husband. We have we spent a lot of time on the soccer field in Harrisburg. I am the Christmas musical director at my church. I also am the choir director there, and I teach an exercise fitness class for women and families on Thursday evenings. Um, and then I also serve in the children's ministry team and women's ministry committee. So that's what I do when I'm not hitting the books at school. What I would like to do, my big dream is something I like to call Project Who, but it has a little bit of a curriculum side to it. I would like to develop curriculum that teaches parents how to have those tough conversations with your children that we don't know how to have because they're uncomfortable. Things about like emotional health, vocational skills, teaching responsibility, teaching how to do chores, teaching some of the home economics and social studies aspects that we're not necessarily getting in our upper education classes, but skills that we need to be responsible adults. And I would like to learn how to teach those to young children as early as we can, because as soon as they learn those skills, the better off they'll be. Eventually, I would like to work in my own facility, my own type of child care center. My husband works in the medical field, and I'm studying for early childhood education, and so I would kind of like to marry our two fields and open up pods that are part nursing home and part early childhood center, because there are studies that show that children who have a good foundation and good relationships with older individuals develop better communication skills. They have better emotional stability. They learn better vocational skills, and they also do better in the workplace. Now, for grandparents, there are studies that show that grandparents will have lower blood pressure, better circulation because they're moving around. They have better emotional stability. They end up needing fewer medications, and it's really therapeutic working with children. And so a lot of the developmental things that are happening for them and a lot of the benefits from working together are the same for both sets. And so I was talking to Diane King about the idea, and she thought she introduced me to intergenerational centers. And the more I've been looking into that, the more that's really exactly what I'm interested in. So I've been really excited ever since we had our talk at midterm. Um, so I'm looking into developing business plans and seeing like really what all is required to do that. But that is what I'm looking into, but developing curriculum now to help fund that big dream in the future. Part of what we learn in the early childhood education department are what we call PPDs, and they are personal and professional developments. And today I'm going to talk to you about the first, the fourth, and the fifth PPD. The first PPD demonstrates professionalism and image, demonstrates professionalism in image, behavior, and disposition. So what does that look like in our environment? That looks like you're a dependable person. That looks like you have independence. That looks like you know how to do time management. You're a good team member, and you show responsibility. It also shows professionalism and philosophy. So when you're thinking about that, you want to appear professional. You don't want to show up in your pajamas. You want to have good hygiene. If you're going to be working with children, they're going to want you to be clean. If you're going to teach children that they need to brush their teeth and comb their hair and show basic hygiene, then you need to be a good example of that. And work habits, your work habits are just your work ethic. If you have good character and you have a good work ethic, you're going to show up on time. You're going to be dependable, independent, responsible. They're not going to have to babysit you on the job. And that's basically what that means. And personality, you want to know the type of center that you're applying for, and you want to make sure it's a good fit. Then constructive criticism is another aspect of that. And how do you take it? I mean, when somebody tells you, hey, you did really well at this, but next time let's work on this thing. Can you take that? Or is it going to completely ruin your day? Now, that is personal and professional development PPD number 1. Personal and professional development PPD number 4 utilizes effective, ethical, culturally competent communication and collaboration skills when interacting with children, families, and colleagues, and as a member of an early childhood team. What does that mean in the real world? What that means in the real world is we understand bias and we want to work to stop it. That means that we speak with everyone in a meaningful and welcoming way. That means that we work with people where they are and we learn alongside them. We value diversity and celebrate cultural differences as unique. We use our strengths to help our teammates thrive, and we ask for help from our teammates when we need it. We utilize our professional training in working with children and families, and we value every person that we interact with. Personal and Professional Development PPD number 5 says that we are supposed to engage in reflection and the design of a professional development plan with the goal of improving professional practice and fostering professional growth. So how do we do this? We take notes on our experiences and we look for learning moments. So when we're doing an observation or when we're meeting with parents, colleagues, students, we take notes on all of those. It's good to keep a journal. There are a lot of things, a lot of people that I've talked to said that they do keep a journal on their class and they just kind of take notes on like highlights and lowlights of their days. And they utilize that information to glean these learning moments that they can use to help them be a better teacher and a better educator and care provider in the future. We seek out feedback from mentors in the field. It's always good to talk to people who have been in there longer than you, even people who are just new, who've just come from school, because they're going to have learned maybe some of the newer studies, and you can all learn from each other. That's the beautiful thing about the education field. It's always developing, it's always changing, and we're always learning. We always look to improve by understanding that we are always learning. I already talked about that. We seek opportunities to improve early childhood education for the better. We seek that by doing trainings, by having conferences, by meeting with different educators and having conversations with them. We come and we have students observe us, and we learn from that. We ask our students for their input, and we learn from that. It's really important, and this has been a big learning thing for me this year, that we have to understand our own shortcomings, both personal and professional, and develop reasonable steps to improve in those areas. I learned that I need to do better time management. Having 4 kids, being a wife, going to school, and doing all the activities, something's got to give. So I've had to learn to prioritize my time and make the most of nap time, and learn how to get things done and get things done quicker than I would have done them, say, when I was 18. We check in on our progress. I can check in on my progress by saying that I'm doing much better in my classes than I expected to be doing. I was hoping to pass them, but I'm doing well. And so that would be an example of checking in on our progress. We note bumps in the road, like in week 5 of my assignments, my children were sick and we were all down with a stomach bug, and my assignments didn't all get turned in on time that week, and so I had to ask for extensions. We got it taken care of. It's fine. We're caught up. Bumps in the road happen. But you also get to note those areas of success. I remember the first A that I got on a quiz, which was super exciting. And we determine which areas of early childhood education have the greatest return on investment for us and prioritize it. What that means is you look for the areas that make you the most excited. For me, I love developing curriculum. I love doing discussion posts. I like writing and learning more and helping people and creating these big ideas. I really love to do that. And so the greatest return on investment is doing more of that. Maybe less time on the floor means that I'm getting to be a little bit more creative on the back end side, and I get to help other teachers succeed. So that would be a good return on investment for me in my personality as an early childhood educator. Now, there are some people that really, really hate developing lesson plans, and they would be excited to get to just buy some from somebody else and have somebody else put all that work into it. That's great. That's more of a return on investment for them, and maybe that is a shortcoming for them, and so they are going to work with their team, and that is how the teammate aspect works in early childhood education. And so with early childhood education, we understand that we all have bias. and we have to look for ways to not let it cloud our judgment. What that means is we've all had bad things happen. We have all fallen short in some ways. Nobody's perfect. And everybody has an ugly part to them. And so we need to look and we need to determine what that is in us and look for ways that has impacted us personally, impacted us professionally, and impacted the people around us. And we need to work to notice that, see it for what it is, and work to remedy it. Thank you so much for listening to my little TED Talk here. I hope if you have any questions, contact us at SIC. We have the SIC Early Childhood Education Facebook page. You can also get us on the website. And you can also reach out to Diane King at diane.king@sic.edu. Thank you so much.